Alright, what's going on my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, I was live streaming and then we had this information drop right on us, which was crazy. 2 brand new legends arriving on JP, and those characters look amazing, by the way. So here we have a Halloween Boa Hancock and a Halloween Perona legend. So I'll let this video play really quick. These characters are kind of interesting, both of which are actually super type characters, which we will talk about. I want you guys to see all of the goodies in action. These characters are quite interesting and very reminiscent to me of when Legend Reiju came out, the Summer Reiju, where that character was kind of unique and had an ability in-game that was kind of reminiscent of her effect of what she has in the series, where she was based around poison. Interestingly enough, Perona and Boa both have effects that are similar to their devil fruits, and I think it's kind of interesting that they are going down this route, introducing more unique effects for these characters. And here is Perona, of course. Artwork for Perona looks so good. By the way, the actual artwork you're seeing on the side is the ink effect artwork. It looks so freaking good. I love the pumpkins, how they're like laughing, and you got all the sparks and stuff. Just fantastic special animation, fantastic artwork, amazing ink effects. I think Bandai have done a really good job with these characters, just visually, but I feel like their effects in game are a little bit finicky, and we'll talk more about it because we do have the translations for their effects at the moment, and there are 2 new rare recruits that are going to be debuting alongside them, which we'll briefly discuss as well. We don't have the abilities for the rare recruits just yet, but still a pretty interesting batch of characters. So here is the SugoFest banner for the brand new banner. It is going to be a 10% red rate, as you can see there. Over on the Reddit, there is a little bit of a breakdown of the Sugo-Fest itself. It does mention it starts on the 20th of September Japan time, which is actually tomorrow as of this video going live. 20 legends each part, 10% rate up. So you can see that it's pretty much just going to be, it's going to be, 20 available legends with a 10% rate being 0.5 per unit. You've got the new HANCOCK PERONA and then a rare recruit Shirahoshi and a rare recruit Bonnie. But have a look at this. Look at the Sugo-Fest steps. Look at how many steps you have here. Rated up rare recruit or a legend. I don't understand why they keep doing this. This is just awful. I really want them to stop making these steps. I would like them to introduce more discounted multis, whether they be 30 gem multis along the way or 1 gem multis back. I would love to see that, but for some reason they just don't do it anymore. Multi 3's a legend. You got a couple of max level legends, which is kind of stupid. A carefully selected legend and then a max level carefully selected legend, like bruh. And then a part 1 and you get Boa, and part 2 you get Perona. Like, it's just not great in my opinion. Not a big fan of it. There is going to be a new Halloween Brook Blitz event. That's actually pretty cool. Okay, that's pretty nice. I was actually hoping that Brook was going to get a V2 for Halloween, because we did expect a Halloween batch to be arriving. It is happening. I would have hoped that Brook was getting a V2, but we are getting a solo Perona legend, which is also something that I kind of predicted was going to happen this year. Really happy that that is the case. We got a bunch of characters boosted, but let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty and the breakdown of these 2 units. All right, so here we go with some translations. Shout out to Blazing Gamer, who is the person who translated these abilities. So here we have Boa Hancock. This is the 6-star artwork. We don't know what the 5-star looks like, but hopefully it looks good. I'm a big fan of this artwork though. It looks really, really cool. So Boa Hancock is a quick, free spirit and shooter captain. A 5 times free spirit and shooter captain with a 1.25 times health boost. And then when you receive damage from the enemy and they don't have a debuff immunity or an immunity buff, they apply a mirror state to all enemies for 7 hits. This is very cool, kind of interesting that it's kind of bringing on effects of when Versus Akainu came out. Whenever he takes damage, he inflicts the enemy with a burn or ignition effect that can bypass immunity. Unfortunately, this doesn't bypass immunity, which would have been crazy if it did, but it does apply the mirror state, which is exactly what we saw with V3 Boa Hancock, the summer Boa Hancock, when that arrived relatively recently, about a year ago now on Japan standards. That's kind of cool, honestly. It is nice that this is kind of an effect that you can just get if you take damage. What I will say though is that aside from that effect of applying mirror, the captain effect doesn't really do a lot. It's just a 5 times attack, 1.25 health, and that's all it really does. No matching slots, no healing, no utility. I guess you could kind of classify this as utility. I don't know if you really would. It just seems really strange. I would have preferred it if it had like some type of, if it like resist 10 turns of a certain debuff. I think that would have been good, just to have on top of it, because all the time. It's just a 5 times boost with a 1.25 health. That's all it really is as a captain. So I don't really know how often you're really going to see play with this, and I assume with double Boa Hancock, it doesn't apply 7 turns and then an additional 7 turns if you take damage. I would assume it doesn't stack. So running double Boa Hancock might not actually be that useful moving forward anyways. So yeah, I don't know. This is a really odd captain effect, I feel. I just wish it did a little bit more than what it did. Now, the super type condition, as we said, 7 turns have to pass, and then it will activate for you. Now, when you do launch the super type special, it recovers 15,000 HP, and it applies 10 hits of Mirror State to all enemies. That doesn't bypass immunity, by the way. And then quick becomes super quick. Again, like, when you think about it, the captain effect already does provide this. The super type does do it for you, so it allows you to stall, but it gives you 15,000 healing as well. I just don't really understand the unit. I don't understand why it's built like this way. Unless if there's a rare recruit that gives you a conditional boost against Mirror State enemies, which we're still waiting for, by the way, then it would make Summer Boa Hancock even better than what she already is, right? So a very weird super type special. I'm not a big fan of this one. And then the special ability is good though. The special is very good. Reduces special bind and attack down by 6 turns. It adds 1000 base attack to quick, free spirit, and shooter for 2 turns. By the way, don't disregard this. This is an incredible boost. A lot of people undermine how good this actually is. A 1000 base attack boost is incredible. And then also locks your chain multiplier to 3.5 for 2 turns, which is the same as like Shank's crew, for example. He's a 3.5 chain locker. However, this is only for 2 turns, so you can't really carry it over boss stages. If an enemy revives, for example, you could still keep it, which is nice. But then there's an added effect that says if a base attack boost is already applied to the crew, meaning like this effect. If an effect like that is already added, then it extends the duration of attack boosts for 1 turn. So yeah, there you go. That's the breakdown of Boa. Remember, she is a free spirit unit, so you can partner her up with characters such as Odin, such as Roger, for example, Toki. You know, there's lots of good characters you can actually partner this unit up with. Technically, you can partner it up with Yamato, but the thing is this character is a chain locker, which is not great, unless if you have a chain boundary effect already active, because chain boundary and chain lock have the exact same icon. So if you have a chain boundary and then you use this special, you won't get the chain lock, which means you could potentially use Yamato still. A little bit finicky if you wanted to do that. But yeah, I think, in my opinion, the way that I would use this unit is mainly just for the utility. And then, you know, on top of that, yeah, you get a base attack boost, you get a chain lock, you can kind of abuse that. But I don't really like this unit, honestly. This unit just seems like very bland. I understand that they're trying to, you know, have this Mirror State be such a commonplace thing with this unit. But again, like, full immunity just nullifies this completely. And you can't abuse this to get more damage for your team. It's literally only there as a stall mechanic. So I don't really know how much I like this one, honestly. It's interesting, I'll say, but I don't know how much I actually like it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about it. But then, talking about our PvP. In PvP, for 27 CT, at the start of the battle for 40 seconds, it does a 25% enemy CT rewind in a large range. That's pretty cool. And then after 40 seconds from the start of battle, quick defense up level 5 and recovers 5 times recovery to allies with the lowest HP. 5 times recovery, like, that's a pretty big recovery that you can get, especially because of her rumble ability. Crew recovery up level 5, speed up level 6, and each time you recover HP up to 5 times, quick CT charge rate up is increased. That's pretty cool. I wonder if with her normal attacks, one of them is a recovery based one, because if that works like that and you can stack recovery with that, that would make her rumble ability kind of broken. Like, you could do some pretty nasty stuff with that. So in theory, depending on how this actually works, this could be a pretty broken PvP unit. And then she's immune to paralysis and reduces strength damage, okay? So that's the breakdown of Boa. I really wish Boa was a bit stronger. I just don't know how useful Mirror is going to be in a lot of content moving forward, unfortunately. But the next character here is Perona. Now, I think Perona is a little bit more interesting, and I think is probably the better unit of this batch overall. So let's go ahead and break her down. So Perona, her captain effect, you know, I did say that, you know, Perona is probably the best one in the batch, but unfortunately, her captain effect is like really weird. So it boosts the attack of int, free spirit, and shooter characters by 4 times. Not a 5 times, but 4 times, and a 1.3 health boost. But then it says it will further boost your attack against enemies with the negative debuff by 1.3 times. And it boosts attack against poisoned, delayed, or enemies with reduced defense by 1.25 times. But unfortunately, both of those stacks do not, like, like they don't multiply into each other. So if an enemy has multiple of these debuffs applied to them, you don't get like multiple of these. Unfortunately, only one of these can be active at the same time. If you have the negative debuff, it takes precedence, so you'll always get this one even if you have multiple. If negative is there, it'll always take this one instead. Now, this means that if you have the negative debuff applied to the enemy, her captain effect becomes a 5.2 times captain. So yeah, if you do have it planned out correctly, yeah, that's quite incredible. A 5.2 times captain. And she's free spirit, so you can have like Wano slots, for example, whether it be with Yamato or whether it be with Odin, right? So it's pretty crazy. There's some of the stuff that you can do, even ints for regular 6-star Yamato, right? Pretty interesting, but again, 4 times captain a majority of the time is not always great, so we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Her super type condition, it says when any special is activated 2 times. Now, we don't know if this means like any special on the crew, just activate 2 specials, doesn't matter which ones they are, or does it have to be one unit has to use their special 2 times? Either one of it seems a bit weird, right? I assume it just means 2 specials have to be activated, but if it has to be one unit has to activate their unit, like their special 2 times, that will make it a little bit more difficult to activate. But the super type condition applies the negative state to all enemies, and it ignores debuff immunity for 10 turns, and then changes all colored slots into matching. That is a great, really, really good super type special. Guarantees you the negative debuff goes through immunity. Remember, the negative debuff also reduces enemies' attack and defense by 20%, so just reducing their defense state as well as getting the colored orbs into matching. Pretty good so far. And then the special ability changes badly matching empty block bomb recovery tandem and G into matching. So with the super type and her special, you get a full board of guaranteed slots, and then boost the attack against enemies with poison, reduced defense, delayed, or the negative state by 2 times for 3 turns. That is actually incredible. Now, this classifies as one conditional boost, so if an enemy has multiple of these, it doesn't like go 2 times 2 times 2, blah blah blah. Does not do that. That'd be incredible if it did. That's not the case here. It's just going to be like if the enemy has one of them, then it's a 2 times boost, okay? Still very good though, because remember, it does do a delayed conditional. Initial translations did not have that actually, now that I'm thinking about it. That's very, very good, because this means, because it's a shooter, even if you're not using like her effects to get the guaranteed negative, you can still use like 6+ Usopp to get the guaranteed delay, which will give you the conditional boost, right? So it does the conditional boost for 3 turns, so you can stack it over multiple rooms. It also locks the chain multiplier to 3.25 for 3 turns. And when the crew's HP is 80% or less, it applies the negative state to all enemies that ignores debuff immunity. So if you've activated the super type previously and you still need to get that debuff, you can get it. You just have to have 80% or less health. But then it also says if you already have a chain locked active on your crew, it'll increase the chain lock by 0.5 and it extends it by 1 turn. So what this means is if you use your Boa Hancock first and you get the 3.5 for 2 turns, Perona makes it a 4 times chain lock for 3 turns. And I mean, if you're able to put this character and Shanks' crew on one team, you can get a 4 times chain lock for 4 turns. Just some of the crazy shenanigans that you can do. So honestly, Perona does seem a little bit more exciting to me comparatively to Boa Hancock. I wish Boa Hancock was a bit stronger, as I said, but Perona does seem to be a little bit better in my opinion. So overall, I'm a big fan of the Perona. I think she's great. The super type special is great. Captain effect being 4 times the majority of the time is not great, but the fact that you can get the conditionals relatively easily with you activating the super type or using the special below 80%, guaranteeing you the effect. Pretty cool. You know, she by herself, she's still a chain locker. She gives matching slots. The conditional lasts for 3 turns. Like, she's a pretty strong unit, right? She's pretty incredible in terms of damage potential. So I think Perona probably has a little bit more usefulness moving forward. But again, we don't know how useful Mero Mero could potentially be if there are certain, you know, strategies around that. And for Perona in PvP, remember, she is int, so there's good synergy already. She does attack down to the highest attack, defense down to the highest defense, and speed down to the highest speed character. All of those for 20 seconds. So mainly debuffing the enemy. And on top of the debuffs, she also recovers 2.5 times her recovery to your int allies, and it's on a 30-second countdown, which is a little bit high, I feel, but, you know, it's a decent-ish recovery and pretty good debuffs there. And her rumble ability, her passive is broken. Int characters get level 5 attack, level 5 health, level 3 defense. Like, that's just nuts. Passives like that, I think the Pirate Rumble, Red Recruit, Rebecca, and Toy Soldier, were somewhat similar to that for Psy characters, and like this passive is way too good. And the resistance immune to special bind and also reduces damage from Psy by 30%. So that's the breakdown of the 2 brand new SugoFest exclusives coming to Japan starting tomorrow. So let me know your thoughts and opinions about these 2 down below in the comment section. So that is going to conclude this one today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. And if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.